Hello and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today I'm talking about reading more diversely in YA. I'm going to break it up into 4 sections. Books I want to read by non-English speaking authors. There's books with non-white protagonists. And then books about mental illness and books with LGBT characters. And I'll also put Goodreads links below so that you can find pages filled with more books. So you can find different ones if you don't really like what I've picked, or if you are interested in reading some diverse books yourself. So I'm going to start off with the books written by non-English speaking authors, and my first author is Kirsten Greer, who wrote the Ruby Red book, and then she also has, that's a whole series of books, I believe. I think it's a trilogy, and they were translated from German. And from what I've seen, they're about time travel and magic abilities, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty much down my alley for books I enjoy, and so that's something I would really enjoy to pick up and read. So the second book is called The Angel Maker, and it was written by Steven Brice and originally in Dutch, and it's meant to be a very Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of book, so really gothic and creepy, which I think I would very much enjoy, so I would love to pick that up as well. And the last book is one that a lot of people will know. It is called Love in the Time of Cholera, and is written by, and I'm definitely going to get this one wrong, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I think, and it was originally a Spanish book, and it's been around for years and years and years, and it's very well known, and it's just a really passionate love story that spans about 50 years, I think it is, maybe more. And the reason I really want to read this is I saw it in a movie called Playing It Cool with Chris Evans, and I just think it would be a good book to pick up. I didn't say the word book right. Oh my god! So now I just want to talk on books that have characters or protagonists that aren't the usual white girl, white boy, so these are just a bit more diverse characters in books. So I'm just going to read off my computer because I have some notes written down. So to start off, there's Legend by Marie Lu. I've heard so much about this series. It's all over Tumblr, all over YouTube. It's really popular, and I've heard a lot of good things about Marie Lu and her writing style, and it's just a book that's filled with action and a fantasy setting, I believe, and then also has a lot of diversity, which would be a really good read instead of just reading kind of that usual trope of a white character saving the world. It would be really good to just dive into some more books that have diverse characters that are also saving the world. Next I have Park from Eleanor and Park, or even Eleanor as well, I think suits this topic of diverse characters. So I believe that Park is Chinese American descent, something like that. And then Eleanor is kind of a chubby redhead, and I think that there's a lack of chubby girls in literature in YA, and so I really would think I would enjoy reading about that, especially the romance aspect as well. It's always good to have a bit of romance in there. And yeah, I just have heard, again, a lot of good things about it. I know that Ren Burrell's a fantastic author. I've read Fangirl and really enjoyed it. And I think she writes really good characters, and I think that it would be a really good read. So another book with a non-white character is Soundless by Rochelle Mead. This one isn't out yet, but it's one I really want to read. I'm so excited to read it. And from what I've heard, it's going to be about a girl from a Chinese village. I believe it was China. And she's they don't speak, and they can't hear, I believe it is, and so she regains her hearing, and it'll be just really interesting because it's a lot about, I believe the main character is an artist, so it'll be a lot about the culture of China and the culture of that village. So I think that'll be a really interesting read, especially if her culture comes into the storyline. Yeah, I just think that would be a great read. And it's Rochelle Mead, so of course that's going to be a book that I read. The next book is The Diviners by Libra Bray, and this is a book that I've just really wanted to pick up for the longest time. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's all over Tumblr. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you've been looking at, because my Tumblr feed has a picture of that book up at least like 4 times. But yeah, I've just heard a lot of really good things about it. I know that it's set in the 1920s, but that's really as much as I know about it. But I have been reading that there's a lot of diverse characters in the book, and like characters with different experiences and cultures and different accents. And it's set in the 1920s, so that was a time where there was a lot of racial stereotypes and issues with the different races. So I think that it'll be a really interesting setting for a diverse character and a diverse range of characters in a book. So the next topic I want to talk on is books with mental illness in them. So I haven't really read many books with mental illness, but it's a topic obviously that is of interest. As a teenager, like a lot of people that I know have dealt with mental illness and like have issues with mental illness, and I think it's just something that is very realistic in our world and something that needs to be talked about in books, because that's a really good way for more people to learn about it, more people to engage with that, and for it to become less of a stereotype. Recently I read All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven and I really enjoyed it. It was a sad take and it did get me really emotional, and I should have expected what happened, but like I was being really optimistic about how it would end, and it didn't end in my optimistic way that I wanted. But it was a really good book, and it did highlight, I think, mental illness in a pretty good light. Like it wasn't a terrible portrayal of a character with mental illness. I think she did quite a good job. But there's some other books that I have seen that I really want to read. My first one undoubtedly is Schizo by Nick Sheff. This book, just the minute I heard about it, the minute I read about it, just captured my attention. I really want it because it just sounds so intriguing, and just that the whole premise of it about this young man who's searching for his brother, I believe it is. I really need to read up on it again, obviously, but yeah, it just sounds so good and I think it'll be really enjoyable to read. I know that it will probably be a real tearjerker and that it will not end optimistically, but I think it would be good and I think I would enjoy it. And so the next book I want to read that's about mental illness is by Ned Vizzini, and he's well known in the book community for having written books about mental illness, and I know he suffered from mental illness and did sadly commit suicide quite a few years ago now, but it's kind of a funny story. I've just heard so many good things about it, and I think that because it's written by someone who dealt with his own mental illness, I think it would be a really interesting perspective, because a lot of like his own experiences have probably edged their way into it, or you know, he's had, because of his personal connection with the issue, I think that he'll have a really interesting view and a really interesting way of portraying the mental illnesses in the book. So that's all I have for mental illness. There's only 2 books there. I'm sure that there's more that I would enjoy, but I couldn't really think of any off the top of my head. So if you have any recommendations, please feel free to leave them in the down bar or in the comments below, sorry, and I would just really love to hear what you guys think of this topic and what books you have read that have a character or characters with mental illness. So the last topic for this video will be characters, LGBTQIA characters in YA, and I think that this is something that's becoming a lot more regular. Like I've seen a lot more inclusion of LGBT characters, especially. I couldn't find any books with a trans character, so if you have any recommendations for books with trans characters, I would be seriously interested in reading. So yeah, leave them below if you have any. But some books I have here, everyone will know this one, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. Again, all over Tumblr, everyone loves it. Like everyone has read it except me, of course. But that is by Benjamin Alirsanz. I'm really sorry, I think I totally butchered that, but I've seen so much about this book and heard a lot of good things, and it just also has a beautiful cover which really makes me want to buy it, and it just sounds really interesting. Like that heading just is on point. I like it a lot. And one more is Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan, and he is a popular author of like YA, I think contemporary is usually his style. and I've never read his books before, so I think that Two Boys Kissing would be a really good one to begin with. And it does have the gay characters in it, and it just sounds like a good book from what I've read about it, only briefly. But I did add it to my Goodreads to read page because I just think that it's a book I would enjoy, and I would like to branch out into some more contemporary books. So I think, yeah, I'd love to include some gay characters into that, and just kind of enjoy a bit more diversity in my reading. So that is it for my list. I know there wasn't many on there, it was about 2 to 4 per category, but I'd really love it if you guys would leave some comments and suggestions for books that you think I would enjoy in any of those categories, or even if there's another category you think that I would enjoy, or a different kind of book that you think I would enjoy that has some more diversity in it. I would love to read that too. So leave your suggestions below and I will have a read and have a look at all of them. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to be trying to make some more content for my YouTube channel slowly but surely. I actually go away for a gap year holiday in like less than a month now. I leave September 7th, so my page and my YouTube and my Tumblr all might go a little bit quiet, but I will be hopefully posting some Amy Travels content, which will be really good, and I think everyone will enjoy it. It'll be a really fun way for me to keep active on my Tumblr, and keep active with you guys while also traveling and enjoying myself. But yeah, head over to my Tumblr if you haven't already. It's AmyWritesXO, and I just post reviews and content about writing and yeah, the writing process, and also make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content. Thank you. Bye.